Have you ever had one of those days where you thought you could trick God, or you rationalize your actions thinking, it's only a little, it's a little white lie, it's fine, it's not gonna harm anyone? I have those all the time. In Acts 5, we see Sapphira and her husband Ananias, and they decided that they were gonna sell part of their property, and they were going to do as all the other people were doing and give it to the disciples so it could be distributed for something good. Now, really, really good intentions, really great idea. Where they fell was when they decided that they would be honest. They told the disciples, or Peter rather, that yes, they gave it all to them. They gave them all the money, all the profits, and they held nothing back. Now, before we get a little mixed up, Ananias went first. So he met with Peter first, and he laid the money down at Peter's feet, and then proceeded to tell him that this is all that I earned. It is all the money, and I have kept nothing back. But see, the Holy Spirit knew, which told Peter that Ananias was lying. So he asked him, "Are you sure?" And Ananias said, "Of course." So Peter told him that he has not lied to man, but instead he has lied to God. And at that moment, Ananias dropped dead. And people carried him out. 3 hours later, his wife appeared and somehow hadn't noticed that her husband had been missing. Or she hadn't seen him for 3 hours, and it didn't worry her, and she didn't think anything of it. So she went in, and Peter asked her as well, "Did you give us all that you had made? Was that all the profit? There was nothing else?" And Sapphira said the exact same thing that her husband did. Yes. Because she knew. Now, if she had gone in and she hadn't known what her husband had done, and she agreed to it, that would be a different story, because she wouldn't be lying. She would be telling the truth that she knew. But she knew what they had done, and they had done it together. And so as soon as she said yes, Peter told her that she would be also breathing her last just as her husband had, and she also dropped dead. It sounds really, really over the top to me. It was just a little white lie. It didn't really harm anyone. But what they didn't see is that they weren't lying to people. They were lying to God himself. They decided that a little white lie wasn't so bad, that it wasn't harming anyone. And there's so much more to the chapter in Acts 5, parts where we talk about how Peter's shadow itself would heal people because he was so filled with the Spirit, and how the priests wanted to kill him because he spoke of Jesus. But we already know that in that time and this era, if you speak of Jesus and you want to hold him to a positive light, people fight back. Because Jesus represents that you did something wrong and you have to own up to it, and you have to say sorry. And it's really hard to say sorry when you don't think you did anything wrong. But I don't really want to focus on the actions of Peter and the rest of Acts 5. I really want to look more at Sapphira and Ananias. How they lied to God, and they thought that they could get away with it. We do that all the time. We tell little white lies, and we think that we can get away with it, that it's not going to be that bad, but we weave ourselves a tangled web, because one lie sometimes, or most of the time, leads to another lie, and you have to keep track of your own story, and you have to be able to keep up with what were you previously saying and continue along that path. One lie can turn into 100 before you even knew it was happening, and you've gotten so used to lying that it seems like the truth. It doesn't seem so bad. That holding some money back for yourself is okay because you need it. And God should be okay with everything that you can give him or that you think he deserves. Truth is, we don't deserve anything that we get. Now, those who aren't Christian, yes, I believe that you did a lot of this by your own work. but you'll be limited in what you can do and what you can achieve. But for Christians, we achieve far beyond our imagination because we've got a God who's backing us, who's telling us lying is not the way to do something, that truth and honesty is what we really need. And maybe for some people who are brutally honest, we just need to learn how to tell the truth without putting it in a hurtful manner. I know I need to learn that lesson. But it is better to be truthful and honest. If they had wanted to keep the money, they wanted to keep some for themselves, the disciples would not have condemned them. It was their money at that point. They sold the property, but as soon as they said they were doing it for God and they were going to give it all to God, that is when the money no longer was theirs, when they should have given it to God. God is a giving God. He does not want to take from us what we need. He will let us keep it. He is not going to take it away from us. But as soon as we say that it is His, and then we decide to keep it anyway, we've kind of crossed the line. Well, thanks for listening today, guys. It's a little bit heavier topic, a little more confusing. If you want to learn more about that story and the reasons behind why God did it exactly, well, let's be honest, we're never going to know exactly why He did those things. But you want to learn more about it, I would use the MacArthur Study Bible. That's what I've been using, and it's been wonderful. I always said I would never own a study Bible, and here I am, probably 10 years later after saying that, owning a study Bible because I decided reading the Bible was a really good idea, but also the most confusing thing I've ever had to do. And the study Bible has really helped me to progress in my faith and to understand things better in a historical and more spiritual aspect, because some of the things that they talk about in there, I'm really confused. What does that even mean? As I'm saying, it's really helpful, and I would really recommend buying it, or at least, finding a friend who has it and just borrowing it, or having a study time with them. Alright, thanks guys, and as always, I would go back and I would read it for yourselves and see what you guys can get out of it, not just what I've told you. Alright, I'll see you guys later.